Tired of just swinging swords and tracking hit points? Want to do something that makes your combat actually interesting and epic? Well, stick to the end of this video and I'll show you the acronym TTSN in order to make your combat interesting. Welcome back, storytellers. My name is Khalil Robeson, a seasoned dungeon master here to help you pursue your fantasy. And in today's video series, what we're going to be talking about is how to make combat interesting and epic. This video is simply going to be the introductory video into the entire interesting combat series. And every single topic that we talk about in this video will have its own separate video where we go in and dive even deeper. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first T in the TTSN acronym is terrain. So most time when people run combats, they usually run it on a flat level terrain where there are two opposing sides that then clash in the middle in order to fight. Well, if you want to make your combat interesting and different, very simple. Simply change the terrain, add some elevation, add some barriers, add some things that make the combat and the terrain itself a lot different than what your players are used to playing in. So for instance, make them fight in a descending valley or uprising hill or in a forest with a lot of trees that make it hard for arrow fire to go straight and hit every single enemy, or with a bunch of stone pillars that make fireballs really insignificant. Whatever you need to do in order to change up your terrain, elevation and barriers are the quickest and easiest way in order to do that. The second T in the TTSN acronym is third-party conflicts. So when you have your players fighting these baddies, they're going at it, they're cutting through them, they're stabbing them, all of a sudden they see a storm cloud roll over. Lightning strikes, rain falls down, and now the terrain underneath them is starting to become slippery and sludgy. It becomes difficult terrain. The hill starts to slide off at certain points when there's too much weight. Lightning begins to strike down, and everyone takes lightning damage. That is an interesting third-party encounter. And just by throwing either weather or an apex predator like a Tyrannosaurus Rex that is looking for a nice hungry meal, or even a natural disaster as in like a volcano erupting or an earthquake happening or a tsunami flowing over. Whatever it is, a third-party encounter adds an extra level of detail and epicness to a combat and really changes it up because both the players and the party that they are fighting have to deal with this encounter at the exact same time. The S in TTSN is swarm battles. So when you want to do a swarm battle, you want to use minions, and you want to use a lot. So what is a minion? It's a 4E mechanic where basically you replace the hit points of a monster with 1. And that is the only hit points they have. And the idea behind it is that the party is so efficient at tearing down and just destroying these creatures that they are no longer a threat to them and they are just inconsequential at best. So when you're doing these swarm battles, make sure you throw a lot of minions at them, and then after you throw all those minions at them and have them having to hold against this horde of oncoming enemies, don't forget to describe the battlefield at the end and where they see hundreds, if not thousands of bodies littered all over the floor. All of them burnt crisp, have sword marks, or have been ripped apart by the druidic's wild shape. The smell of decay and the crows coming onto the field. That will make your combat counter very interesting and epic. Not even the combat itself, but the aftermath and the players being like, yeah, we just killed 1,000 goblins. How do I feel? Right? The N in TTSN is make combat a non-primary goal. So what do I mean by this? Make combat a consequence that the players have to deal with in order to get to what their actual goal is. Whether or not that means that they have to solve a riddle, but they are stuck in a combat encounter because the riddle wants them to die and not to be able to focus on solving the riddle itself. Or what if that means escaping a trap in which it's a maze that is constantly closing off its exits, and there are denizens in here that want to trap the party in here because they don't want to be alone in their sorrow. Or what if it's just stop them from escaping a dungeon that is crumbling on them, and they simply need to do this in order to be able to get out of here, but the denizens in here want them to die with them, as this will be the only way that they can fulfill their purpose. Make combat the non-primary goal, and you'll see your players get stressed out and have so much fun and find it interesting and epic. Comment down below how you would make combat interesting. How would you spice it up and change it? And help other people in the comment section below and tell them and help them figure out how to make their combats interesting as well. If you want to join a community of storytellers that do this on a daily, go ahead and jump in the description below. I'll have a link to our Storytellers Paradise, which is our Discord server where there are tons of other storytellers there just to interact with and that will help you make your games better. If you just want to see what I do in my personal day-to-day life, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and you can follow me there. If you like this video, please feel free to sneak attack that like button. And if you really liked it, please feel free to subscribe as I post new content just like this one every single week, once a week. And I hope you enjoyed it and are having a fantastic day and keep rolling on. And in a world without fantasy, sometimes we need a little Dungeons and Dragons.